I want you to think about the last time you walked into a room and felt absolutely, unapologetically radiant. Now, what were you wearing? What were you doing? And more importantly, what color was your hair? Now, I know what you're thinking. She's going to tell me to go platinum blonde, or chop it all off into some sensible pixie cut. No, absolutely not. We are not doing that today. Because here's what nobody in the beauty industry wants to admit. Most of the hair color advice aimed at women over 60 is, frankly, boring. And worse than boring, it's wrong. Your hair color is the single most powerful frame around your face, more than your lipstick, more than your eyebrows, more than the most expensive serum you've ever bought. And yet, most women are walking around with a color that is quietly, subtly, working against them. Not because they have bad taste, not because they made a mistake, but because the advice they were given was designed for a different era and a completely different woman. So today, I'm going to show you 3 hair colors that do something most people don't even realize is possible. They make you look younger, not by trying to look younger, but by making you look more alive, more vibrant, more you. We're talking a warm honey blonde that practically pours light onto your face, a rich chestnut that brings back contrast in all the right ways, and a silver, yes, silver, done so deliberately, so intentionally, that it stops traffic. Seriously. And I'm also going to tell you, right at the end, about 2 colors that are aging you faster than anything else. You might be wearing one of them right now. Don't go anywhere. Color number 1, warm honey blonde. And before you say anything, before you even think about rolling your eyes, I need you to stay with me for exactly 60 seconds, because this color is not what you think it is. This is not the brassy, sun-damaged, over-processed blonde that haunted the 90s. This is not your highlights from 2003 that turned orange by Christmas. This is something else entirely. Close your eyes for a second. Actually, don't. You're watching a video. But imagine this, late afternoon sunlight coming through a window, that warm, golden, amber-kissed light that makes everything it touches look like it's glowing from the inside. That is the energy of warm honey blonde. We're talking golden undertones, amber depth, the occasional strand of butterscotch catching the light. Not platinum, not ash, not beige. Warm, rich, alive. Now here's the part where I need to get slightly scientific with you. Just for a moment, I promise I won't make it boring. Here's what I want you to understand. As we get older, our skin loses some of its natural warmth. It can start to look a little cooler, a little more tired, even when we feel anything but. The wrong hair color reflects that coolness right back at your face and doubles it. The right color? It bounces warmth upward, like the world's most flattering ring light. And honey blonde does exactly that. Now, is this color for everyone? Let's be honest, nothing is for everyone, but warm honey blonde is remarkably versatile. If you have fair to medium skin with warm or neutral undertones, and most women do, this color is going to do something almost unfair to your complexion, in the best possible way. Brown eyes? This will make them look like they're lit from within. Hazel eyes? You're about to discover colors in your irises you'd forgotten existed. Green eyes? Honestly, it's almost criminal. But here's the thing, and this is the part most people miss. Honey blonde, done flat, done all over, done as one single unbroken tone from root to tip? That's where it can go wrong. That's where it starts to look like a costume instead of a hair color. What you want is dimension. You want a slightly deeper honey at the root that graduates into lighter, brighter, almost golden strands toward the ends. You want a few face framing pieces right here, gesture to face, just a shade or two lighter, to draw the eye upward and illuminate the skin around your cheekbones and jaw. That's not just a hairstyle, that is architecture. So the next time you're sitting in that salon chair, here's exactly what you say. I want a warm honey blonde with balayage or baby lights, slightly deeper at the root, lighter and more golden toward the face. Write that down, screenshot it, save it. That sentence is worth more than any magazine inspiration photo you've ever brought in. Color number 2, rich chestnut brown. And I want to be very precise with that word, rich, not dark brown. Not plain brown, not box dye from the drugstore brown. Rich, because there is a world of difference, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Think of the color of a freshly opened bar of dark chocolate, the good kind, the expensive kind, with a thread of mahogany running through it, and just the faintest shimmer of copper in the light. That is rich chestnut brown, and on the right woman, it is absolutely devastating, in the best possible sense. Now, here's something I want you to really absorb, because this is the insight that changes everything. As we age, we lose contrast, our brows soften, our lash lines fade. The definition between our skin tone and our features, that sharp, clean boundary that makes a face look vivid and sculpted, it gradually, quietly begins to blur. And what does rich chestnut brown do? It restores that contrast. It walks up to your face and says, I see you. I've got you. It frames your eyes. It defines your cheekbones. It gives your whole face a structure and a presence that feels effortless, because when your hair is doing the work, you don't have to. But here is my absolute favorite thing about this color, and I mean this. I get genuinely excited every single time. What rich chestnut brown does to your eyes is nothing short of remarkable. If you have brown eyes, and I mean any shade of brown, from the palest golden hazel to the deepest espresso, this color makes them smolder. It creates a depth, a richness, a warmth in your gaze that people will notice and not be able to quite explain. They'll just think you look magnetic. And if you have green or hazel eyes, chestnut brown will pull out every fleck of gold and every thread of amber in your irises and put them on display like they're in a museum. People will ask if you're wearing colored contacts. You're not. Your hair is just doing its job. So who is this color for? Honestly, a wider range of women than you might expect. Rich chestnut brown is most extraordinary on medium to olive skin tones, where that warm reddish brown creates a contrast that is frankly cinematic. But it also works beautifully on fair skin when it's done with dimension, and I'll get to that in just a moment. What I will say is this: if you have been going lighter and lighter over the years because someone somewhere told you that darker colors age you, I want you to seriously reconsider that advice, because on the right skin tone, rich depth does not age you, it anchors you. And there is a profound difference. Now, and this is crucial, the way you wear chestnut brown in 2025 is not the way it was worn 20 years ago. Flat, solid, root to tip dark brown is heavy. It can look dense. It can, I'll be honest, read as dated. The modern version is what colorists call a lived-in chestnut. You keep the rich, deep base, that gorgeous dark brown at the root, but you let it breathe. A few balayage strokes in a warm caramel or toffee tone through the mid-lengths. Maybe a subtle copper gloss over the whole thing to add that shimmer, that movement, that sense of light playing through your hair as you walk. That's the difference between looking polished and looking painted. So here is your salon brief for this one. And again, screenshot this. Tell your colorist, I want a lived-in chestnut brown, rich base, warm caramel balayage through the mid-lengths and ends, and a copper or red-toned gloss to finish. That is it. Those words, in that order, will get you exactly where you want to go. Coming up next, the color that is either going to excite you or terrify you, possibly both. And I am here for every second of that reaction. Don't go anywhere. All right, color number 3. And I promised you this one would either excite you or terrify you. So let's find out which one it is. Dimensional silver. Now, I already know what some of you are thinking. Silver is what happens when you give up. Silver is what my mother had. Silver means I've officially stopped trying. I am going to spend the next 2 minutes completely dismantling every single one of those thoughts. And by the end, I think some of you are going to walk away, ready to make a phone call to your colorist. Here is the truth about silver that the beauty industry spent decades trying to hide from you. Silver is not the absence of color. Silver is not what's left when color runs out. Silver is a color, a real, intentional, achingly beautiful color. And when it's worn with full awareness, when it's crafted, maintained, and styled like the statement it is, it does not whisper, it announces. Think of the women you know, or the women you've seen, who wear their silver with that certain quality, that stillness, that ease, that refusal to apologize. They don't look like they've aged into their hair color. They look like they chose it. because they did. And that choice, that deliberateness, is one of the most sophisticated things a woman can wear. But, and this is the part that matters most, I am not talking about all silver, because there are two versions of silver hair in this world, and they could not be more different. Version 1, dull, flat, yellowed, neglected silver. The kind that happens by accident, without intention or care. The kind that absorbs light instead of reflecting it. The kind that, yes, I will be honest, can read as tired. That is not what we are talking about. Version 2, dimensional silver, intentional silver. Silver with tonal variation, platinum strands, layered with cool pearl, soft ash, and the occasional whisper of lavender or violet to keep it bright and electric. Silver that has been glossed and toned and cared for until it gleams. Silver that catches every light in every room and holds it. Now here is the science that surprises everyone. Silver, done right, is actually one of the most light-reflective hair colors that exists, more than blonde, more than any highlighted brown, because silver has no pigment to absorb light. It is pure reflection. And reflection equals luminosity. And luminosity on the face reads as one thing and one thing only: youth. The caveat, and it's a real one, is that this only holds true when the silver is maintained with absolute commitment. We are talking purple shampoo, toning glosses, regular trims, and a colorist who knows the difference between silver and simply going gray. This is not a low-maintenance color. It is a high-reward color, and there is a very significant difference. Who is dimensional silver for? Honestly, and this is the part one loves most about this color, it is the great equalizer. It works across virtually every skin tone, every ethnicity, every eye color. On fair skin, it is ethereal, like moonlight. On medium skin, it is architectural, all clean lines and beautiful contrast. On olive skin, it is electric. The warmth of the complexion and the coolness of the silver create a tension that is genuinely impossible to look away from. And on deeper skin tones, it is simply breathtaking. The contrast is so dramatic, so striking, so unapologetically glamorous that it stops a room. But here is the real prerequisite for this color, and it has nothing to do with skin tone or eye color or texture. The real prerequisite is confidence, not arrogance, not performance. Just a quiet, settled, I know exactly who I am, and I am not asking for your permission kind of confidence. And if you're over 60 and you're watching this video, I'd be willing to bet you already have it. So, your salon brief for dimensional silver, and this one is the most important of the three, because the words you use matter enormously here. You say, I want dimensional silver, not flat gray, not white. I want tonal variation with platinum, pearl, and ash. I want a violet or blue toning gloss to finish, and I want it to shine. And if your colorist looks at you blankly when you say those words, find a new colorist. 3 colors, 3 completely different energies, 3 very good reasons to pick up the phone. But before you do, I promised you something at the top of this video. I told you there were 2 colors out there quietly working against you. It's time to name them. Now, I need to say something before we get into these 2 colors, and I mean this sincerely. This is not about shame. This is not about telling anyone they've been doing it wrong or that they've been walking around looking less than they are. That is not what this channel is. What this is information. The kind of information that nobody gave us when we needed it. The kind a great friend who happens to be a world-class colorist would pull you aside and whisper over coffee. Consider this your coffee. Color to avoid, number 1, flat jet black. And I know. Black feels powerful. Black feels sleek. Black feels like it means business. And in fashion, on clothing, on accessories, it absolutely does. But on hair, on a face over 60, flat jet black does something that is the precise opposite of what you want. Here is what it does. Black, especially solid, flat, blue-toned black, absorbs light, every bit of it. And when all that light is being pulled downward and away from your face instead of being reflected back onto it, your skin loses its warmth, its glow, its dimension. What's left can look pallid, drawn, hollow. And there's a second problem that nobody talks about. Flat black has no movement, no variation, no light playing through it. And hair without movement reads, visually, instinctively, as heavy, dense, rigid, Those are not the qualities we are going for. Now, does this mean no dark hair? Absolutely not. Did you hear me talk about rich chestnut brown for the last 2 minutes? Dark hair is stunning, but there is a world, a vast, luminous world, between rich chestnut brown and flat jet black. If you love depth, if dark hair is in your soul, stay in that world. Just add warmth, add dimension, add life. Your face will thank you every single morning. Color to avoid, number 2. And this one, I say this with full compassion because I know it's going to land for some of you. Stark, cool platinum, the bleached all the way out, no warmth left, white blonde, that has had a very long run in certain circles. It's time to have an honest conversation about it. Here is the problem with stark, cool platinum on a complexion over 60. When skin has already shifted toward cooler, more sallow undertones, which, as we talked about earlier, it naturally does with time, adding a cool, ash-heavy, pigment-stripped blonde right next to it creates a washout effect that is deeply unflattering. The hair and the skin start to blend into each other. The contrast disappears. And contrast, as we now know, is what gives a face its definition, its presence, its aliveness. There's also a texture issue. Platinum blonde requires significant bleaching to achieve and maintain. And bleaching, over time, over years, changes the texture of the hair. It becomes porous, dry, fine. And fine, dry, porous hair does not hold light. It scatters it, which is the exact opposite of what dimensional silver does, which is why the difference between the two is so stark, so striking, so important to understand. Again, and I will keep saying this, the answer is not no blonde. The answer is warm blonde, honey blonde, golden blonde, blonde that brings light to the face, rather than pulling it away. Which, if you've been paying attention, you already know exactly how to ask for. I want to be very clear about something before we close this out. None of this, not one word of it, is about rules. Rules are for people who haven't figured out who they are yet. This is about understanding your own face well enough to make choices that honor it, that serve it, that let it do what it was always capable of doing. There's a difference between following a rule and knowing your own power. And knowing yours. That's exactly what this has all been about. So, let's bring it all home. 3 colors, 3 completely different women, 3 ways to walk into any room and own it, not in spite of your age, but with the full, unapologetic authority of it. This opening line of the rap immediately reframes the entire video away from anti-aging and toward pro-power. That distinction matters enormously to this audience. Deliver it cleanly, with a quiet confidence that signals, we're not retreating from anything here. Warm honey blonde, your glow-getter, the color that pours light onto your face, like the world's most flattering ring light. Rich chestnut brown, your sophisticate, the color that walks into a room before you do and makes sure everyone's already looking. And dimensional silver, your bold statement, the color that requires nothing but confidence to wear and everything to be earned by it. But here is what I actually want you to take away from today. Not the 3 colors, though I hope you use them. Not the salon briefs, though I hope you screenshot them. What I want you to walk away with is this. The conversation around beauty and aging has been broken for a very long time. It has told women over 60 to minimize, to soften, to disappear a little, as though the most gracious thing you could do is take up less space. I reject that entirely. The women I find most compelling, most magnetic, most genuinely beautiful, at any age, but especially at 60, 70, 80 and beyond, are the ones who have stopped stopping youth and started inhabiting themselves, fully, deliberately, without apology. Your hair is not separate from that. Your hair is part of that story. Make sure it's telling the right one. Now I want to hear from you, and I genuinely mean that. I read every single comment on this channel. Tell me, which of these 3 colors are you most drawn to? Are you a warm honey blonde woman, a rich chestnut brown woman, or are you, secretly, quietly, maybe just a little bit thrillingly, a dimensional silver woman who just needed someone to say out loud that it's extraordinary? And if you've already made the change, if you've already found your color and it changed something for you, I want to hear that story most of all. Drop it in the comments. Don't be brief about it. We have time. If this video gave you something, if it shifted something, or confirmed something, or just gave you the exact words to use the next time you sit down in a salon chair, then I'd love for you to subscribe, because this is exactly what this channel is. Honest, informed, modern conversations about style and beauty for women who have earned the right to know better. No fluff, no filler, no one telling you to fade quietly into the background. Next week, we go deeper. Because now that you know your color, I want to talk about the exact haircuts that make each of these three work at full power. Because the right color on the wrong cut is like the right wine in the wrong glass. It's fine, but it could be extraordinary. And we are in the business of extraordinary. Until then, go be seen. You've more than earned it.